All right, welcome to the Sports Mashup number 74. August 24th, 2022 is the date of the episode. And I suppose we'll start in the NBA, where, as outrageous as it may sound, LeBron James agrees to a 2-year, $97.1 million deal with the Lakers, which means pretty much, I'm sure there's some sort of option there. I don't know how many years he has in his current deal, but I think this is a good indicator that he's probably going to be a Laker for the rest of his career.
That or unless how much longer does Bronny have till he can join the league?
I'm trying to think of his.
Is he a junior now or is he a senior?
I'm thinking 2 or 3 years, but I don't know where he's at now.
Because I wondered if this deal was long enough until whenever Bronny got drafted, LeBron would go where he got drafted.
That is something that he said he's wanted to do. I don't know how long until that happens. And there's also the possibility that he doesn't make it to the NBA. I mean, he's not that highly touted in comparison to what people may have thought he'd be. I'm sure he'll get a shot. But,
Yeah,
I don't know. Somehow, Udonis Haslem is still playing, returning for his 20th season. And I say playing as in he's on the team.
yeah. I was gonna look it up on how many minutes he played last year because I don't even know if it got in the double digits.
Yeah, I think he's almost just a coach at this point, like an assistant coach with a uniform.
Like when Juwan Howard played for the Heat when
Yeah,
LeBron and them were down there.
pretty much, yeah. So it's a bit weird, but he's still there, so good for him. You also had the Oklahoma City Thunder #2 overall pick, Chet Holmgren, getting his foot tested after injury at a Pro-Am summer event of some sort, and I think it's torn ligaments. So
And it's in his right foot.
yeah, so I mean, torn ligaments, and he's probably going to be out for a little bit. And this begs the question of, should NBA teams be concerned with letting all these players play in these summer events? Because LeBron was there, multiple other players were there. So
Yeah, it was a big deal that LeBron was there because he hadn't been at that Portland or Oregon. And what is it in Oregon or Washington?
I'm not sure.
But he hadn't been at that um, pro am since like his rookie year or and within like his first 3 years in the league.
And there's a lot of things about him possibly being injury prone with his build and the way that his body is, and it happens before he even plays a real NBA game. So
Yeah, I know
not
it's a big deal that Jason Tatum and LeBron were there.
yeah. So
Or
I mean,
then maybe they were the two biggest names from the league currently that were playing.
there's a lot of players playing in these events the entire summer. So I don't know if NBA teams are concerned with this. I don't know. We'll see if they address it. I think this will be something that people think about now.
Yeah, and then you had the Nets and KD agree to, in quotes, move forward together.
Yeah, it's pretty big waste of time this summer in the NBA. Always that one story where it's like, oh, this star might get traded, and then he doesn't get traded. We waste an entire summer talking about it.
I mean, I guess you got to test the market if you're him, and he tested the market pretty well.
Yeah. Now, one thing that probably led to him not being traded here is the fact that he didn't have a no trade clause.
Which
You pretty much lose your power.
I did see there was a thing on Pat McAfee when they were talking about Jimmy G, and they had a former baseball like GM on how they do that, where they'll throw out a name to see, say they want to trade him or something, and they want to see what feedback they get to see what they could possibly get for that person and how much he's worth or something.
Yeah. Well,
Which they think maybe that's what's going on with Jimmy G.
yeah. In this case with Durant, I think if Kyrie opts out and goes elsewhere, I think the Nets probably try to trade him try harder to trade him, I should say. But I'm not surprised that this is the case because they have Kyrie and Ben Simmons in place. you just got to wait it out with Durant, and I think that's what they were doing, and then they were able to all meet together and come to an agreement. And he's got a 4-year deal anyway, so I think
Yeah,
the likely option the entire time, given all the facts, was that he was going to eventually return.
and like we discussed, like they already have all the role players around them together, except they're just really missing a true 5-man.
Which I don't really think you need in the NBA anymore.
No, but they really don't have like even an NBA 5-man current style.
That's true. And the final point that I have on this is he doesn't seem like the type of player that's going to sit out. So eventually he was going to come back.
Yeah, he was not going to do a holdout.
No.
And then lastly, in the NBA, there were some schedule notes. We no NBA games on. We did talk about Election Day on November 8th. No Thanksgiving Day games this year.
Don't want to compete with the NFL.
No Christmas Eve games.
Don't want to compete with the Hawaii Bowl.
And April 3rd, no games, which is the NCAA title game, the national championship. And then January 24th through the 28th is rivalry week. 11 national TV games featuring playoff rematches and intercity matchups. So, what? New York will play Brooklyn.
I suppose. I mean, this is one of those things that probably would have been.
What other ones are the same city? I guess the Clippers and the Lakers, but who else?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they factor in teams in the same state. Orlando and is there another?
No.
No.
But there's 3 in Dallas. There's San Antonio, Dallas, and Houston.
Well, Houston sucks, so I don't know how. I mean, what about like old rivalries? Like, is there anything about that?
It just says rivalry. Why can't I say that? Will you say that? It's like
rivalry week.
Yeah, it just says 11 national TV games featuring playoff rematches.
What about Lakers Celtics? I feel like you can't have that week without having them play each other.
You would think, but unless that's one of the inner city matchups, them and the Clippers, but
yeah,
I guess if it's over a week, I guess there could be that game too.
Former playoff matchups. How about like Suns Spurs? They used to go at it in mid-2000s.
I mean, they might want a little more competitive game.
That's true. That would probably be a blowout.
Like who was the Suns' best playoff matchup this year?
Dallas.
Did they play Memphis?
No, they played New Orleans. Or what about like a finals rematch from a few years ago? If there's like, Warriors and Warriors and Cavs is what I was gonna say, but the Cavs don't really have the same group anymore. So I don't know. They're trying to make the schedule more quote unquote cool. I think the rivalry week idea would have been a lot cooler like 30 years ago.
And then the other ones were the All-Star break is February 17th through the 19th, and it's in Salt Lake City, Utah. April 9th is the final day of the season. All 30 teams will be playing. And then teams will average 13.3 back-to-backs, down from 13.5 last season. So
a huge drop.
Yeah. So you get one less back-to-back?
I guess so. There you go. On to the NFL. Joe Burrow, Bengals quarterback, discomfort was his appendix ruptured, which prompted surgery. When did he have this surgery?
It was a couple weeks ago. He was back at working out with the team the other day.
Yeah, I remember this story, but it appears he'll be good to go. So
yeah, because at first they didn't know what it was and how long he'd be out, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be ready for week 1.
All right, that is good news for the Bengals. And then you had Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson suspended for 11 games, up from 6. And of course, in the most NFL fashion possible, he will be returning against the Texans.
Hey, he didn't get suspended.
Banned. Sorry.
Banned for 11 games.
Banned.
So I wonder if when they say banned, that means like he can't even. I wonder if that means he can't be at the facility and like
Probably correct.
attending practices and meetings for those 11 weeks.
That is probably correct. Yes. So
I mean, that first game, I guess he gets basically a practice game against Houston.
yeah, and the ratings for that one will be interesting because that's what the NFL is doing here. It's a ratings play. Hey, he comes back and he's facing the team that traded him. Oh man, it's so cool. That's what the NFL does. So there you go. Nobody should be surprised by that. Bucks guard Aaron Stinney carted off during Saturday's preseason game versus the Titans, which offensive line injuries continue in Tampa.
Yeah, now they haven't said yet on like what happened, how bad it is or not. But if it's bad, you just lost your starting guard and your center.
Yeah,
and your backup guard / center retired in the offseason after only 7 years.
And then, well, they're strong on the outside, so that should help. But
Yeah,
definitely some interior issues there.
I guess it's not terrible that it happened week 2 of preseason before a lot of the cuts, so you still have time to work on who's going to step in there.
Yeah, that's true. Bears linebacker Roquan Smith ends his holdout. He'll play the rest of his rookie deal. So I think this is kind of a wait and see. If he has a good season, then they'll pay him after this one. So that's my guess.
Yeah, he's he's said to be paid $9.7 million on his 5th year option, and that negotiations are over right now. He did say, I thought it was very distasteful, to say the least.
Huh. Interesting. We'll see what happens there. I think a lot of people know how good of a player he is, and we'll see if the Bears pony up the cash if he has another Pro Bowl, All-Pro like season in 2022. Ravens running back Gus Edwards to miss at least 4 weeks, added to the reserve / PUP list. So what's that running back room looking like?
This is stemming. He tore his ACL in like the last week of training camp last year, like September 4th. So he missed all of last year, and he's still recovering.
Can't be good.
That, or unless there was a setback somewhat time during the year or over the summer where he just needs more time to get his legs under him, so they put him on this list.
Yeah, could be. So now they have J.K. Dobbins as their number 1, which he's coming off of that injury from last year. I think he'll be good. And they have Mike Davis as number 2.
Which Mike Davis, that was the guy for Carolina last year, right?
Yep.
So they got Dobbins, who was having a good rookie year, and then Mike Davis, who can handle his own.
Still
so not
fine.
terrible,
And they have
not
Lamar.
terrible, but they just don't have a receiving group.
Yeah, so we'll see what they do with that offense there. I think that's going to be one of the bigger offenses under the microscope this season, just because how much has been said about Lamar and what he is and whether he's going to get paid or not. So it'll be interesting to see how the Ravens offense is.
And then the Chargers make Derwin James the highest paid safety ever, which I keep thinking every time we see these contracts, we keep saying this because
Yep.
What was it, a month ago? So who else was named the highest paid safety?
Oh man, Minkah
Was it
Fitzpatrick.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Minkah thought he had it for about a month, and then
Yep.
boop. But he got a 4-year, $76.4 million extension, which is $19.13 million per year.
Well, when Derwin James is healthy, he's definitely one of the best in the game. So lock him up while you can if you're the
Yeah,
Chargers.
so I mean, he's making over $1 million a game.
Yeah, we'll see.
The Panthers quarterback that they drafted, Matt Corral, torn ligament in his foot, will miss the entire year most likely.
Yeah, he was pretty much like their number 3 or 4, so not too big of an impact here. But you would have liked to see what they get from him in the preseason because it's not like they're 1 and 2, which is Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold are really locked in 1 and 2.
Well, no, I think they did come out and they said that Baker is going to be the starter.
Yeah, but I just don't think that either of those guys is
the future.
Yeah, completely secured.
And Matt Rule did come out and say he called the injury a significant Liz Frank ligament tear. So, I mean, if it's significant, he's definitely missing the entire year.
Yeah, and he also got hurt in that bowl game last year, I remember. So
I mean, he should definitely take this year to learn how things are done in like the quarterback meeting rooms and all that, and figure out the off-field aspect of the game way better than he would have if he was just the third-string quarterback.
Yep, that's true.
And then Tom Brady returned to training camp.
So everyone can shut up about their stupid conspiracy theories now and such. That's good.
I did see one. I mean, for those of you who are watching and see that I'm in a bit different backdrop, I'm on vacation, and I just saw the other day that there was speculations that he was filming to be on The Masked Singer. And there were speculations of family troubles between him and the missus from him coming back.
I don't know.
But, I mean, the thing, too, with The Masked Singer was it was with Fox, so people were talking about, him going into the booth. So maybe if he did make a deal with Fox, since he didn't go into the booth, they wanted him to be somewhat on Fox.
Seems dumb. I don't think it's true, but either way, he's back.
Yeah, who knows if there was a contract with Fox. They're like, well, to honor your contract for this year, we want you to be on The Masked Singer.
Maybe. I don't know.
And then you had the Colts punter, Rigoberto Sanchez, one of the best names in the league, tore his ACL during wind sprints, probably out for the season.
Call Pat.
I mean, that is a big loss to the team, and I'm pretty sure there was a call from what's their Jim Irsay or their GM
Chris Ballard.
I'm sure there was a phone call or text sent from one of them to Pat to see how his leg was feeling, because I mean he's still under contract with them.
Obviously, it's probably not going to happen, but it's fun.
No, I mean, he talks about it when he even punts or tries using it, how much his knees swell up. But he'd also have to hurry up and get off his quote unquote meds.
Yes, vitamins, yes.
He has vitamins. He'd have to get off his vitamins pretty quick, like.
Yeah, that would be a close call.
Other than that, fantasy football wise, I still think we're probably 2 episodes out, or at least an episode out. Maybe next week.
Yeah,
there'll be more info on that.
Yeah, so we'll just move over to the golf.
I did have one more football thing. It was former Seattle Seahawks linebacker Shaquem Griffin retires from the NFL, and he says he's on to Plan A, which is he's looking forward to helping others as part of the NFL Legends community. I mean, he's the brother of star cornerback from the Seahawks.
Shaquille.
Yeah. And Shaquem is the one who had his left hand amputated at the age of 4 due to a amniotic band syndrome.
Best of luck to him in his
Yeah.
post-football career.
Yeah, former 5th-round draft pick. But, I mean, I don't know, he didn't get much playing time in Seattle, but it sounds like he's all right with retiring and doing what Plan A was.
Yep. Let's go over to golf.
Last weekend, you had the BMW Championship winner Patrick Cantlay won back-to-back BMW Championships, which, I mean, last year he won this, and then he turned around and he won the Tour Championship. He won 2.7 million, shot 14 under. This weekend is the Tour Championship. Defending champion, like I said, Patrick Cantlay at East Lake Golf Club in Atlanta, Georgia.
We'll see. Kind of came out of nowhere to win last week. He was just hanging around for a while. I don't know if came out of nowhere is the right term, but he was hanging around at the top and gets it done late.
Yeah, he shot 3 under, and then he shot 6 under day 3, and then only 2 under on day 4. Yeah, so I mean, that 6 under kind of gave him a little bit of a cushion.
He'll start in second place, starting strokes behind Scheffler at East Lake next week. So we'll see if he can do something that he didn't do last year because he started first last year. So we'll see if he can come back from starting second, which I think is only 2 strokes or so. So we'll make picks on that later on. Real quick, I don't really have much to say about this other than that Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy announced the launch of a new golf league, the TGL, in partnership with the PGA Tour. The TGL will have 6 teams of 3, 15 Monday night matches, first of its kind tech-infused venues, and it tees off January 2024. So seems kind of cool, kind of weird. I don't know. I don't really have much of an opinion on this until it actually happens.
Well, and then I also saw that the PGA Tour, they're committing to compete in at least 20 events during next season, including 12 elevated tournaments that will average purses of $20 million. This came after the players' commitment comes on the heels of a players-only meeting that Tiger and Rory hosted last week at the BMW Championship.
Yeah, so they're trying to combat
PGA's adding money.
We'll see where this goes.
But so yeah, the 30 players this week, and this is in order of their tee times, is Wise, Thigala, Scott, JT Poston, KH Lee, Connors, Harmon, Tom Hogue, Billy Horschel, Colin Morikawa, Victor Hovland, Justin Neiman, Jordan Spieth, Max Homa, Hideki Matsuyama, which I don't know how he finished in the top 30. Cameron Young, Matthew Fitzpatrick, Justin Thomas, Stallings, John Rahm, SJM, Straka, Tony Finau, Rory, Cameron Smith, Xander Schauffele, Sam Burns, Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay.
Yep, we'll see.
And then who is it? What is the strokes?
I think the leader, just whoever's in first in the FedEx Cup standings, which is Scotty Scheffler, starts out 12 under, I think, and then you got somebody at 11, somebody at 9, somebody at 8, something like that. I don't have the list in front of me.
But and then when it gets down after 1, everyone's just even, right? There's nobody that starts over.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, I wouldn't think that if you made it a top 30, that the guy who starts 30th is going to start out at plus 18 or.
No, I think he's even, yeah. So
But they
there you
got
go.
so he's getting 12 strokes. I thought the max you got was only at 3.
Well, you don't have like a big lead. You just get, you start out at a certain spot, and then the guy behind you
I
is like
just
one stroke behind you.
I just knew when I played PGA 2K, like I was the points leader, and I only was like 3 under.
No, yeah.
It was like 3, 2, 1, and then everyone was even.
Yeah, I think there's more strokes in the actual tournament, but I could be wrong unless they changed it. I don't know. But all right, college basketball. Big Ten finalizes the deal. Well, this is college basketball and football. For this one, $7 billion TV deal with Fox, CBS, and NBC. We mentioned a couple weeks ago how they were breaking away from ESPN, and this is further proof of that. Pretty big deal.
Yeah. And what was it they wanted from ESPN? They were wanting 13 billion.
It was a lot of money for not as much content, I
Not as
think.
many, yeah, not as many games.
Yeah, so they weren't going to get that. And then the other three networks capitalize on that.
Yeah, and somehow saved 6 billion from what they wanted from ESPN.
Yeah, kind of weird. USC and UCLA exit could cost Pac-12 $13 million, which isn't surprising. They're a sinking conference at this point. It's pretty much over.
Yeah, I mean those are the two biggest names.
And then
in
you
the
have
conference.
Oregon, and Utah and Washington. All these other teams trying to break away as well. So it's a done deal for the Pac-12. They're cooked.
Which I don't know how Utah was never in what the Mountain West.
Probably too big
Like
of a school.
I mean, they just seem like they would fit in that conference way better than the Pac-12.
Maybe.
And then ex-Gator Keontae Johnson does get cleared to play. He's off to play at Kansas State.
Good pickup if he's healthy. I mean, we just don't know if he's healthy because he had the whole heart incident, and you never really know with those. So we'll see if it works.
Yeah, I mean, had the collapse on the floor, which we discussed a couple weeks ago, or I don't know, a month and a half ago, that he was leaving Florida and didn't know what was going to happen there.
Yeah, and now he goes to Kansas State, where should be plenty of opportunity there, I would think. Not that there wouldn't be at Florida, because there would be, but this is, a good spot for him.
Yeah.
MLB.
Albert Pujols passes Stan Musial for second all time in total bases. Now he's like 710 or something behind Hank Aaron.
Yes, he's not going to catch that, but it's been a good run for him. His numbers are looking better than they've looked in a long time in his career. So,
Because what was it? Was it Saturday when he had the 2 home runs?
yeah.
So that was the night he passed him, and he was 713 that day. So, yeah, he's just barely over 700 now.
Pretty good.
And then home run wise, he's at 693. He's like 3 behind A-Rod. And then the only people over 700 is Barry Bonds is at the top. And then I forgot who is in second.
Hank Aaron.
Yeah. And then third is Babe Ruth at 714, which I feel like if Albert gets just under 700, I could see him coming back from where you're just to get over 700 and possibly passing Babe Ruth.
Yeah, I doubt that. I don't think he's going to come back. I think with everything he said he's done after this year, no matter what, he doesn't care about 700.
I know. I would just like to see it, and then if just this, put his name above Babe Ruth's home run would be sweet.
Yeah, that's true. You also had the Rangers fire president of baseball ops, John Daniels. So they spent like $500 million this last winter, and they've been terrible, which isn't surprising. So they make this move, and they also fired their manager a couple weeks ago. So
yeah, this was like a total I mean, they've been on an overhaul, and this was just the last thing they've done so far.
And now they got to build around Marcus Simeon and Corey Seager, who they gave a ton of money to. So we'll see if they can do that. The MLB also released their 2023, quote, balanced schedule. For the first time, all 30 teams will play each other at least once. Teams will only play 52 divisional games, down from 76, and all teams will play on July 4th. So interesting balance here. I think I like it. I'd like to see how the season plays next year, though, with this. I wonder, are we going to see – I doubt we'll ever see a team come close to what the Mariners did and what the Cubs did, winning like 116 games or whatever that was. So I don't think we'll see that.
So basically, you'll have what, like, is that one or two less divisional games or series against your division?
24.
Yeah, 24 less. So you'll have two less divisional series.
Yeah, which that's going to make it to where, you can't stack up wins against the bad teams in your division.
Yeah, which, I mean, is what the Cardinals and Brewers have been doing for the last 3 years.
What the Dodgers do with the D-backs and Rockies as well, and what the Orioles were a few years ago, what teams in that division would do to them, or the list goes on with those. So
yeah. Players of the week.
Yeah, I didn't want to go with a Cardinal just because you could have gone Goldschmidt, you could have gone Pujols, and you went with the Cardinals. So I went with that.
But we both went pitchers.
Yeah, I went with the opposite of a Cardinal, which is Johnny Cueto. 16 2/3, 11 hits, 1 earned, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. He's been turning back the clock. And not a lot of people talking about this, probably because the White Sox aren't that good. But Cueto's having a big season.
Yeah, I mean, there was that big game last week. They thought was going to be a pitching duel between Verlander and
Cease.
Yeah, and that didn't turn out to be what they thought.
Nope.
But yeah, I went with Cardinals pitcher Jordan Montgomery over the last week. 14 2/3, 7 hits, 1 run, which was an earned run, 15 strikeouts, and no walks. But Monday, he threw a complete game, 1 hitter, 0 walks, 7 strikeouts, threw 99 pitches, 65 of which were strikes. And I think it was the second or the third inning was when he gave up the double. And then he retired 18 straight batters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was as long as, I think they said in the 8th when he started, that was his longest outing he had ever pitched in his career. So, for everyone that doubted him when the Cardinals traded for him, saying he was a washed-up pitcher, he's had great start since they come over. And he said that he loved having his beard and he was glad he could grow it back, and it's back, and he throws a complete game, 1 hitter.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of hard for the Cardinals to lose that trade at this point. With everything they've gotten out of Montgomery already, he's got 1 earned run in like 25 2/3, I think, with the Cardinals. So, yeah, he's been great, and the Yankees haven't gotten anything out of Bader yet because he's hurt still. So we'll see what happens with that. But trade's looking pretty good right now, so you'll take it.
Yeah. I could not pick him after Monday's performance.
Yeah, it's too good not to, no doubt. On the hockey side of things, the World Juniors come to a close. Canada wins the gold. They beat Finland, who's the silver, and then Sweden beat Russia to be the bronze medalists. So, not really surprising with how good Canada's team was this time around. Just would have been nice to see the U.S. medal, but they were like, oh, we're just going to lose to Czechia instead of medal.
What was the score between them and Canada?
Who?
U.S.
I don't think they played.
Oh, their match, they had to each win to play each other?
And then the U.S. lost. Yeah. So what can you do? You also had Trevor Zegras and Sarah Nurse will be the cover athletes for NHL 23. So Zegras really becoming one of the more marketable players in the league, despite playing for the Anaheim Ducks. And the obvious choice was to make him the cover athlete here. So it's not surprising that they did that. And they're finally going away from Austin Matthews, who they had 2 of the 3 years. So it went Matthews in 20, Ovechkin in 21, Matthews in 22, now Zegras in 23. So 3 of the last 4 cover athletes have been American-born players. All right. Elsewhere, looks like you had something here for college football, which if you want me to say that, I can, or you can.
No, this is Hooters signed 51 offensive linemen to NIL deals.
I mean, that's a good business right there for both sides.
It's funny they didn't, get any position, or not position players, any
Athletic athletes, safety, corner,
hey,
receiver,
offensive
running back.
linemen are athletes.
Yeah, I'm just saying they don't like if you
They
saw.
didn't get any skill position
Yeah,
players.
they didn't get anybody that you look at without knowing who they are and be like, that's an athlete,
Yeah. But I think
So,
a lot of them were like from big name schools. Like I saw that it was like LSU, Texas. Like I think it was mostly SEC teams.
not surprising at all.
But I
All right.
mean, I think Hooters started it in that area.
Yeah, that sounds right. All right, let's shift over to the picks. Last week for me, I went 3-3, 2-3 in Major League Baseball, 1 for 7 in golf. I hit on Kurt Kitayama top 40.
I was 5-1. I went 4-1 in baseball, and I hit on Patrick Cantlay to win. I did have my top 40. I had Tom Hogue, and he tied 48th, but that did get him in top 30.
It's true.
Which is so weird. I mean, did I actually hit on him? I mean,
No, because he would have had to finish top 40 in the actual tournament.
Yeah, but he finished
top 30 in points for the season. Yeah.
Oh, I gotcha.
Pretty much because he won at Pebble Beach is why.
So I guess last week when we were talking about they should have done a top 30, it wasn't just top 30 from the tournament, it was top 30 from points.
Yeah, for the season. So, yep.
So, I don't know what my total is at the moment.
I didn't write mine down either, but we'll get back to that next week, I'm sure.
And I listened to the last 2 weeks' shows, and I didn't say it. My totals in either show. So,
well, let's start with baseball first for this week's pick. So, who you got in baseball?
I got the Mariners plus 100 over the Guardians, the Orioles minus 105 over the White Sox, the Blue Jays minus 155 over the Red Sox, Astros minus 175 over the Twins, and the Yankees minus 215 over the A's, because the only other game you could pick was I don't even remember which one it was, but it was like minus 305. It was like a gimme game, and I didn't want to pick it.
I'm going to go Angels plus 155 at the Rays, Guardians minus 120 at the Mariners, Blue Jays minus 155 at the Red Sox, Athletics plus 195 against the Yankees, because why not? And I'm going to take the Rockies plus 300 against the Mets. I'm going to say DeGrom gives up like 1 run and they lose 1-0. So
that was the game that was the minus, was DeGrom versus who they playing? The Mets.
Rockies.
Yeah, that was the game I didn't want to take the minus.
As great as DeGrom is, we've seen him be brilliant and them lose, so I'm banking on that.
Yeah.
All right, Tour Championship. Who you
got? To win, I have Patrick Cantlay at plus 300, but this is their odds with their starting strokes. And then John Rahm plus 1,200, Cameron Smith plus 2,500. Top 5, Tony Finau at plus 225, and top 10, Colin Morikawa at plus 210.
All right. I'm going to take to win Patrick Cantlay plus 300. I wanted to go Scheffler, but I don't know. whatever. We'll see. Rory plus 900 and Justin Thomas plus 2,200. And then I have top 5 Rom plus 190. Top 10, of course, Max Homa plus 175.
Did your guy not make it in?
Davis Riley, yeah, no way. No, he's an up and comer, just not totally there yet. He'll get there, but yeah, we'll see. So wrapping up the golf season there, then we'll have more football, I'm sure, to talk about next week.
Yeah.
That'll do it for us. We'll see you next week for the 3-quarter mark, I suppose, with number 75, the Sports Mashup, and the last one of August next week. We'll see you then.